I'm the best.
God.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the No Thumbs Up podcast, where down is up and thumbs are down. On today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at Brightburn 2019. But first, let me introduce some beautiful people. Along with me today are my co-host, Thumbs Down Dayne, Josh the Joint Man Jenkins, No Cap Noah, and Spaghetti Joe. My name is Joel, and I'll be your plotsman for today, so please sit down, get comfortable, and enjoy the ride. If you like what we're...
Joe,
Looking at
get
you.
down from there.
Sit!
What are you doing?
If you like what we're doing here...
No, Joe. In the chair.
No, the chair.
The chair, Joe.
Joe, the
Sit.
chair.
Sit.
Joe, that's the floor.
He's sitting.
The chair.
You
The
know
chair.
Okay, that's good enough.
If you like what we're doing here, don't forget to leave an actual thumbs up on this video, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more podcasts like this one. How you guys doing?
See Joe be an absolute madman and lay on the floor.
Guys are doing good?
Yes, sir.
what can be.
So, like I said, this week we're going to be looking at Brightburn. This was this was Josh's movie from last week. So, what was your experience with this movie going in?
I saw it pretty much when it first came out on Netflix, and then just haven't seen it on Netflix since. And then I just thought of it the other day. So
Yeah, it is pretty new. It just came out in 2019. It's directed by David Yarovsky, produced by James Gunn of the Guardians of the Galaxy series. It had a budget of, I don't know if we found a more specific number for this, but it said 6 to 12 million and a box office of 32.9 million.
it's like a big gap.
I know,
how
it's
do you-
like anywhere from 5 times to 3 times the amount of profit.
It's like
Yeah.
a Blumhouse sort of deal. Like, he always just puts in such little amounts into horror films, and then they always just make a exponential return on them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, he coming back. He
Yeah.
found the chair.
May not have just spilt all over my computer setup.
Well, while you're doing
Good
that,
start.
so this is basically kind of a horror spin on the Superman story.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of little kind of Easter eggs alluding to the kind of premise of it. This story takes place in Kansas, which I guess is where Kal-El, Clark Kent, Superman, lands in the series. So that's one reference. And also Brandon wears a lot of yellow, red, and blue in his regular day outfits. And this, I guess, was something they did in Smallville as well. So,
Oh, that is so cool.
That's pretty cool.
Detail.
yeah.
Wow.
I gotta go back and look at his clothes now.
Yeah. Anything else anybody has to say about the movie going into it, or do we just want to get into the plot?
Let's just jump right into it.
I've never
just
really
hop
seen or
right in.
heard of this movie before.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Going
honestly.
into it.
Oh, right. I
So,
wanted to go over cast still.
This is an example of a movie that you don't need a lot of marketing for. At Avatar: The Last Airbender.
True.
When you make a good movie, it seems to make a profit.
Yeah.
I guess Avatar made a profit, but
It's almost like the
Unfortunately.
movie sells itself.
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
So for today, oops, just bringing up the virtual background thing.
Just got my drink, some habanero ketchup.
That's how I do.
Drink it. You won't. Actually drink
Is
it.
he being a madman?
Hey,
Who I recognized in this movie today, we're not going to go through quite as many people. Elizabeth Banks played the part of Tori Breyer in this, and I actually didn't realize this until I looked it up after. I don't like looking until...
I
She's
didn't realize
Katniss?
that.
No.
She's
I didn't know
Katniss?
that was Jennifer
He's
Lawrence.
Katniss? Oh my god.
She
Whoa.
plays the part of Effie
Close.
Trinket from Hunger Games. David Denman plays Kyle Breyer in this, and he plays Roy from The
Yeah.
Office. Yeah,
Yeah.
got the worst picture of him I could.
I know the people that haven't seen The Office.
Here?
Yeah, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, at Joe.
Jackson A. Dawn plays Brandon Breyer. I didn't recognize him from anything, but he's pretty young. So
He's
the
just
one
getting started.
the one thing I did see him in was like he played the 12-year-old version of Ant-Man in
Oh, that's cool.
Avengers Endgame for like this one part where they were getting all fucked with the time stuff. Anyways, and Matt Jones played Noah McNichol, so his uncle, and that's Badger from once again something you guys haven't seen, Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he's
I've seen
like
Breaking Bad.
Jesse's friend. Oh, you have?
Whoops.
I think I asked last time, and everyone said that they hadn't seen
I
it.
didn't finish it. I was close to finishing.
Oh, okay.
I watch good shows like The Office, right, Joe?
Like Better Call Saul.
His wife, so the auntie's, played by Meredith Hagner, who plays Marilee McNichol. But I don't have anything that I
Megan
recognize her
Andrews.
from. So, without further ado, I think we're going to get into the plot. So, we open up at 143. I don't remember what the street name is. It shows this establishing shot of this house, and we go in and we see Mr. and Mrs. Breyer, and they're snuggling up, getting touchy-feely.
Doing the nookie.
Yeah, and the lights start blinking and going out, and they hear something crash and hit the ground far away. They look out the window, and it's a meteor.
Child.
Yes. Technically also true. They assumedly go and see what it is, and 10 years later we have this montage of them raising this child that they found from this meteor, and we skip to 10 years later.
Good job.
It's time for school, and
Wake up, it's time for school.
yeah, and Tori can't find Brandon anywhere, so she's looking all over the house, and you kind of get the vibe that they play this hide and go seek game a lot, and she's looking for him inside and downstairs and under the bed, and she's whistling, and you hear Brandon call out, "Oh, not even close." Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Oh, not whistling practice, okay.
Moisten those lips, Joel.
We jump to the barn, and there's a very predictable jump scare here. It's a very tense music, and he pops out. Roy comes.
But before that, when they were saying when he was not even close, and they were whistling back and forth, the distance from the house to the barn that they do that is so fucking far. There's no way you'd ever.
I feel like he must have whistled outside the house and then ran off to the barn. That's what I thought.
He's got
'Cause the doors
superhero
were
whistling.
open, leading towards the barn, weren't they?
He has superhero hearing and
Closed.
voice casting
Ultrasonic
ability.
whistling.
I believe it.
Makes sense.
Roy, no, sorry, not Roy.
For the purposes of this, he can be rolled.
I think his name is Kyle.
Kid?
Kyle Breyer, yeah, is the dad.
Dad.
Oh, the dad, okay.
He comes home and they go make some breakfast, and you see them as a good old happy family. Yeah. We see Brendan in school, and his teacher is actually somebody from... The actor plays somebody in American Pie, Book of Love, but I didn't see that movie or
That's why
recognize
she
it,
was so hot.
so I didn't bring it up.
All the teachers in this movie, well, no, I wouldn't say all the teachers, but all of the adults, female adults in this movie are just smut
Hot ones.
shows. Yeah.
They're pretty hot.
Good movie.
They're learning about bees and wasps and...
Not the birds and the bees. Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon's drawing just Satan pictures, and the teacher calls on him, "Oh, what's this kind of wasp?" And he just perfectly knows the answer. He's saying "Oh, these kinds of wasps are," I forget what it is, something parasite boar parasite or something, and they basically force other nests to raise their kin and get them to feed them larvae and stuff like that, so that because they can't make nests themselves. So this is kind of a parallel with Brandon and the parents. He kind of gets called out in front of the class and made fun of, and they're like, "Oh, you know so much about maggots, you must be one."
That kid is so mean to him.
Yeah, I know.
We gotta show kids are mean to each other, right?
But one kid, she's different. She gives him a chance, and she turns around and says some line I went back and listened to like 10 times, and I can't understand what she's saying.
Smart guys rule the world.
So
don't mind him.
I heard smart guys end up grilling the plane in.
No, they end
That's
up
what I wrote.
ruling the planet or running the planet or something.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, grilling the plane in, running the planet. Yeah,
grilling the plane in. Yeah.
She wants.
Night.
They become the best fry cooks, the best of grilling.
Yeah, he pretty much grills a plane later. Nighttime, and the mom is painting. A whispery red voice and a red light call the child from the barn, and he starts to like convulse in bed, and his eyes glow red, and he just gets up and jumps out the window to the ground. The wife painting sees something outside, and she goes to check it out. She's searching for him everywhere, and she goes into the barn, and she finds him just vigorously shaking at this trap door in the barn. And when she gets closer and touches him, he flips around and then pretty much wakes up. And he's kind of freaked out. She tells him that he was sleepwalking, but she's
sleepwalking.
Yeah, kind of suspicious, obviously. He goes back to bed, and she's singing to him, "Every little thing is gonna be alright." Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. She lies to the husband.
Don't worry.
Guys, we're gonna get clean. We're gonna get clean. It's too close. What is it? I forget what she tells the husband, but she doesn't tell him that he was like at the door.
No, she's straight up.
He was just downstairs.
Yeah. The next morning, the dad asks him to mow the lawn. They were just kind of outside hanging out, and he asks him to mow the lawn. When he goes over there, he's pulling it, and he can't get it to start, and he gets frustrated and just fucking tosses that.
Eats a lawnmower.
He's fucking yeeted that lawnmower just like 300 yards.
Kooky transition into the first of our Stinky Awards this week. The absolute yeet of the week goes to the lawnmower, because holy shit, does he clear like 3 football fields with a behind the back toss out of nowhere.
Yeah, it caught me off guard for sure.
Really shot put in that man's hand. Like, how far could he throw that?
Especially just like how the effect looked. I was just like,
Yeah.
Fast.
Like, why don't they just like they just gotta like use their kid as like an Olympic like superstar and just like profit from him?
Yeah, I mean, they just said that he'd never bled, but I don't know how much they really know about him at this point.
Oh yeah, then he goes and sticks his hand in the lawnmower blade because why not?
Yeah, it's
Heard
just
the voices
curious.
Yeah, it's like, oh, do it. Try and hurt yourself.
I guess it was like feel like it was like the parasite alien sort of voice just trying to like show him. He's like, it's invulnerable.
You can do anything.
You're powerful.
Yeah, he does touch it. He breaks the blades. They're totally screwed up. And I don't think this is brought up at all with his parents.
I don't think so.
That was my first thing. I was just like,
I thought they were going to be running up behind him saying like, stop, and then they see him do that.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, he didn't really get in trouble for it.
No. Fucking lawnmower.
How do you explain that to a dad? Like, getting your ass beat. Goddamn.
I hit a rock.
And the lawnmower went 90 yards.
Yeah.
I guess this is the day of his birthday. They go to some like arcadey Pizza Planet type place. There's people playing games and all that. And his aunt and his uncle are there, and his parents, and they're eating and congratulating him. Oh, happy birthday! And you're in the top 1% of the region or whatever. And they're like, oh, the top 10th of a percent. It's like, okay, we get it. He's smart. The uncle, for some reason, is just like, oh, well, special boy deserves a special gift. He just brings out this like big gift.
So American.
Only in America. Yep.
So right in like the middle of a diner too, just like, here's a gun.
Yeah. So he's ripping it open, and he finds out it's this rifle, and immediately the dad's like, whoa, like, what the hell? No, you can't have this. And the kid hits the table, and he's like, give it back. And in the background, you see the electronics start kind of glitching out, and Kyle's kind of getting stern with him. He's like, whoa, no, you're not getting this back. When he basically drags him out of there because he's getting frustrated with him. He thinks he's being a bad kid. They go back home.
Super out of character for Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, like, you throughout the movie towards the end, you keep thinking just like, oh yeah, like it just feels like they should have done more. But I think like until exactly kind of where this movie starts, he was just like a normal kid.
Yeah.
So it is kind of about just like alien puberty, and just as he's hitting this point, now he's going crazy for some reason.
It's like kind of like when, I don't know, I think he's getting around the age of 12 when most kids just get like an attitude. He just happens to have superpowers.
Yeah. When they get back home, they're discussing how they are worried about him, and Kyle suggests, why don't we go camping, like just get away for a little bit. They start packing for camping, and the mother says, oh, can you bring a warm coat? And he just kind of sits there. He's not listening. He's eating his cereal, and the dad's just like, hey, yo, did you hear your mom or what? And he gets closer and closer and closer. And when he looks over, Brandon's just like mauling this fork in his mouth and just mangling it. And he grabs it and kind of freaks out a little bit and goes to find the wife. And she's in his room, and she has these pictures that she found under his bed. They're looking through them, and it's pictures of like bikini models,
Sears catalog, lingerie.
The underwear ads.
And then it slowly gets more into just like organs and like biographical pictures.
It's like, my man. The good shit.
Clearly, like,
what that was in the pictures either. Like, is that just like,
I think it's just random intestines and guts and organs.
He
showed
like,
a bunch of anatomy.
He like either doesn't understand like his own anatomy, or he's interested in human anatomy, or just wants like meat. Just in general, I don't know.
A pecker dough? Or does he got an alien dick?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think that he would,
looking.
based on the fact that they raised him and had to probably. Yeah.
That's one thing I don't understand. It's like, why is he so interested in body parts like that or organs?
I think because at that point he kind of realized he was different, like with the whole getting powerful and stuff, and he started getting that little bit of superiority complex.
Yeah.
Because he started talking about how he's different than everyone. He was special.
He's built different.
That was after his mom.
No, I guess that was after his mom.
That night. Like, it's such a, I don't know, such an odd thing.
I think
it's not
maybe
really
he just
up.
realized he wasn't human at that point, and then was wondering like, oh, this is what humans have. Like, I don't have like.
Yeah.
He's looking at a bunch of anatomy of humans. So.
Yeah. When
it circles back to the, do he got a human dick though?
Maybe that's why he was looking at the male
Superman.
Anatomy. Like something's not there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Nothing else like Lois Lane complaining. So.
True.
When they do get to camping, Kyle takes Brandon out to go hunting, and kind of figures that he needs to have a heart-to-heart talk with them about puberty. So he thinks he's saying, like, your body is changing. I wish somebody had been around to tell me that I could, give into my urges and touch myself. And he's like,
my little alien dick.
Yeah. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, my penis. Like, and he's like, it's okay to give in to these things. And the kid's just like right now. And he's like, fucking weird kid. No, not right now.
Sick.
You knew that he would have said like, yeah, right here, right now. He probably just would have like killed him.
Yeah, like I wasn't
Right
sure.
there.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you could kind of hear like that ambient like background noise coming on. And he's like, right now. He's just like staring at his dad. He's like, oh. He's like, oh, okay.
And then it's like funny because they're just like, he's like, yeah, anyways, and like just puts up the rifle.
Yeah.
And they make a point of just showing that they like he doesn't fire yet. So like he was just trying to get out of the awkward situation by looking down the barrel. We flash to the girl in his class's room, and she closes her laptop, and it starts.
The laptop starts playing music first.
Yeah, it starts playing music. She wakes up, goes and closes the laptop, makes it stop, and she turns around, and before long, it opens up again. It's playing music, and so she's freaked out at this point.
Real fucking heebie-jeebie material right there, though.
Yeah.
Some phasmophobia shit.
Honestly.
In the window, the curtains are moving, and she sees Brandon in there kind of clearly. She starts screaming, and the mom busts in, and she's saying, oh, he's in there. Brandon Breyer was in there. And
what I don't understand is why is he harassing her when she's the only nice person to him in that
I don't
class?
think he was like
that's-
necessarily harassing her. It's just like
He
loves
doesn't-
her, maybe?
yeah, he doesn't really know how to like show it, and
Oh.
she's just scared, and like it just goes wrong, so he just gets pissed.
Oh, I thought he
Yeah,
was
could you imagine if you had fucking superpowers and you were trying to like impress a girl
Yeah.
at that age? Not even impress, just like get to know a girl.
like bench their
Yeah.
parents' car or something?
Yeah, you would do some like weird shit that would freak them out.
Yeah, like you just wouldn't know where the lines are too,
Yeah.
and you
I
couldn't
guess
be
at
stopped.
that age you're super awkward and don't know shit. That's why you
Yeah.
like tease girls. I guess that's kind of what he's doing with superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
Back at camping, they don't know where
I'm
Brandon.
super awkward and don't know shit now.
Back at camping, they don't know where Brandon is. They're searching for him, calling his name, and he just says, "Oh yeah, I came out here to pee," but we know that where he actually was at school.
Let's meet behind the curtains.
He's turbo beating that meat, man.
He knows
Get
about
out
it
of there
now.
quick.
See, that's why he's there. His dad just talked to him about it. So he's
Yeah,
like,
he
oh,
said
some
it's
quick
okay to do
material.
it.
He did say to give in to the urges, so I don't know what he was going for.
Yeah.
The Tori's talking to the auntie, and she's saying, "Am I overreacting?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's just a puberty thing." She asks what he's drawing at this point. I guess I don't remember what it is at this point that they see, but
Probably another one of those symbols.
yeah, something
It's
like
just
that.
a BB symbol.
When he's like scribbling in his notebook furiously.
It looks
and
like
she
the,
comes over.
Symbol from Berserk. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that or read it.
Oh.
But it looks pretty similar.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to. Yeah, like the sheriff says later, it's like BB, like Brandon Breyer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like that logo does look like something an edgy kid would make as like their
Yeah.
logo, so it suits pretty well.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
does look like the Berserk symbol.
You get the
Like it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
you get the sense that it's more likely like some sort of like alien symbol that's like, you know, coming to him because he's all of a sudden very
Yeah.
attached to it. The night or some night later, Kyle hears some rustling outside as he's putting Brandon's gun into like the case, and he hears like the chickens going crazy. And he's like, "Ah, damn wolf!" Grabs his gun, goes out there. Turns out to just be Brandon, just standing there staring at the chickens,
Staring at the fucking chicken.
and they're just going nuts. He's like, "You know, you doing good? You all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think so." And he's like, "Okay, well, like, get out of here!" Like,
Go
me
away.
out. They go to bed, and he hears sounds coming from the chicken's nest again, and he goes back and sees them mangled. And this is like, I feel like the pacing of this movie is weird because like it seems like a lot of things just happen like back to back. Like he just sees the chickens, and then that night, like, they're all dead.
I think it's that fast because he has just been doing a bunch of crazy shit like the past days.
Yeah.
I know, but I just feel like we should have introduced that he had some like interest in the chickens, and then later like gone and seen them slaughtered, not stuck those two back to back.
I think it was fine just with how what he does escalates.
Yeah.
Went out to go choke
I see you mean, it was pretty quick.
Yeah, that's what we said. It's like, he's just out there choking chickens. That's all.
He finds them, and these chickens are fucked up. Like, they are just look like mangled, and like he's just like punched through them almost. And like the door was torn off. And when the wife comes out, Kyle's freaking out. He's like, look at this. This is crazy. And she's like, so wolves. And he's like, this, like, wolves can't do this. Yeah. Like, I think it's Brandon. She's like, oh, yeah. And our 12-year-old boy can do this. And he's like, well, it's not wolves. Like,
yeah.
How unfazed by it she is. Like,
she was staring at these chickens and they were just flipping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She is obviously she says a bunch of times in this movie, like, how much she supports him, and she's trying everything to just not admit that he's the one doing all these things. They have what I would deem a professional nerd circle at the school. They're just like pushing each other around, but they're supposed to be like kind of supporting you, so you just kind of bounce around. It's a like trust exercise thing. And it's Brandon's turn to go in. He's not in there for very long before I think he goes to the girl that he was interested in. And she is freaked out by him because of earlier events, drops him on the ground, and he hits his head, but he's fine.
Basketball bounce off the pavement, too.
Yeah. One of the kids makes a remark at this point, something about, like, you should have... Because there's like a support circle, and he says something about like the ground wasn't supporting you. I don't know. And so the teacher's like, whoa, like, you guys stop doing that. You have to help him back up. And she's very hesitant to grab his hand. And then when she finally does, he just like starts squeezing and doesn't let go. And she starts screaming and freaking out. And then you get like a quick shot of her hand just get all mangled. And at this point, we know he's got some anger issues. They're discussing what to do with him in the principal's office, and the parents of both kids are there, and the daughter's mother wants Brandon put in jail for what he did. He just totally screwed up her hand. She thinks he's a monster, and Tori's doing everything she can to defend him once again. She says, do you know who his real mother is? And she's like, I am his real mother. So I guess it's kind of public knowledge that he is adopted.
Where's my quotes? Adopted.
Yeah. When they get back home, Kyle's saying, oh man, my dad would have whooped my ass for doing something like this. And he's like, she says, we can't ass whoop this away. Because they, I guess, know that he's, like, impenetrable. Or, I don't know if they know that at this point, but... I know they said he's never bled, so I don't know if they know, like, he's, like, truly impenetrable.
It's not right to beat your kid. It's not going to teach him anything.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it is in this scene they say that he's never bled, he's never bruised. The kid starts getting called to again by those demon voices. And the mom is Googling, like, I don't know, what to do with alien child.
WikiHow.
Brandon's following the voices back to the barn. He sees the lock on it and just rips it off. Gets to the doors where he was at before. And he starts floating and speaking in tongues. And it slowly starts turning into take. His mom finds him, and I think she touches him or something like that, and he falls down to where we now see his spaceship is being kept, and his hand scrapes along the ship as he gets in. He starts bleeding, so we get that that's kind of his kryptonite. And when the mom comes down there, he's looking at his hand. He's like, "Who am I?" She says that he's their son, and he doesn't really take this. He's like, "Well, what is this? Where did I come from?" She says that we prayed for a baby for a long time, and somebody listened. You arrived here in that thing. And he doesn't like this. He gets pissed. He's like, "You lied to me. I hate this place." And he flies
Just
off.
angry puberty, you know.
Yeah.
Just breaking
Like,
everything.
Just acting out.
I wrote
Honestly,
down.
Our kid would do it. Like, probably would do it. I think if they had superpowers, I don't think they have the like part in their brain that like knows right from wrong yet. Really. So
Yeah.
I feel like if you like just give any kid that's like in a not so good home, well, I guess it's an okay home, but in a situation like that, I think he'd be pretty
Yeah.
upset.
I wrote down "take the world" here. I guess it's shown at some point at the end of the scene, but I'm kind of blanking on what that kind of
It's
looks
what
like.
It's
it's
what
what he
finishes
says.
saying.
So yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I know, but does he finish saying like "take the
Yeah.
world"? Doesn't he
Yeah.
figure out after?
I think it
No,
was
he
a little bit
finishes
after.
saying it.
It calls him back out again. He like runs out into the yard.
Yeah, he's in the yard.
Yeah.
Finishes the sentence.
In the girls' room again, we see this is where Brandon has gone. He tells her, "Don't scream. I brought flowers." He's like, "I want to tell you what I learned. I'm special. Not many people know how special I am." And she's like, "Oh, my mom told me not to talk to you, seeing as you kind of mangled my fucking hand."
Yeah.
And he says, "Yeah, I'm going to take care of that," but he means your mom. He leaves, and we see the mom closing a shift at a diner where she works. And right before she's about to head out, she is cleaning up, and these symbols start to show up on the window, and like a very heavy fog starts going on and musking everything, so you can't see except all these symbols that presumably he's just gone around and drawn.
It's the cum window. Everybody knows that.
He's just giving into his urges.
Blast.
He just zoomed in, splooged all over the window, and then started drawing on it.
I think that's what happened actually.
Just a large
Yeah.
frothy.
There's no way to be.
Stop.
window.
The lights start flickering, and we see her. Oh yeah, the lights start flickering, and she looks up at one of the lights that's like going really fast and kind of shaking, and it explodes, and the shrapnels of it hit her in the face, and one just goes right into her eye.
Which leads us right into the next transition of the next Stinky Award, which Joe has right behind him. The most moment of the
Clenched
movie.
butthole
Cringiest.
moment.
Butthole clenching
The
moment.
tightest
Ugh.
butthole clenching
Yeah.
moments as she's trying to pull the shard of glass
Yeah.
Or
It's so
like-
long.
And it's so like
right in her pupil, right in there, and it's such a cool long close-up shot of her slowly pulling this.
Yeah.
It just makes everyone here, I'm sure, made all of our skin crawl just a little bit.
yeah. The worst thing for me was I was like, oh, you couldn't even close your eye.
Yeah.
Like it just like you'd have to just stare at it.
I don't know how she just like man-moded it out of her eye, and then like wasn't screaming or anything. Like she was just like perfectly, like
Yeah.
quiet. Like,
Just so
Majority
terrified.
control of that situation.
yeah, like how can she
and
just
a
do
normal
that
person
immediately? Ugh. She's crazy. She's tough.
She through the camera's vision, we kind of see what she's looking through. It's getting really bloody, obviously, because of her eye, and we keep seeing.
It was literally just like this red, though, of a filter
Yeah.
over one eye.
Yeah,
That was kind of weird, honestly.
we keep seeing the red hooded character teleport and kind of like get closer to her. She gets scared and hides in the freezer, and Brandon comes and like sucks the door off of the freezer, right? And
Well,
just
he laser beams like
oh
a
right,
hole in like the middle of it, and then just like
yeah. He has just every power. I hate it.
yeah.
You can kind of tell at this point that his red hood is just like his red blanket that he sleeps with, and like a little red mask that's sewn together. I guess the mask had kind of some inspiration of kind of looking like wasp eyes as well.
I don't see it, but
Yeah, I don't know. He appears at home the next morning, or well, I guess he just goes back home, and the next morning his mom is asking him, "Oh, how do you feel?" And he's like, "You know what? I feel really good. You know, feels good to do good. You know."
Yeah.
I wrote searching dinner. Oh, diner. They're searching the diner, and they say that they can't get 2 words out of her because presumably she's just like in shock. And he's looking at all these symbols on the window, and that's pretty much all we see from him. We see Brandon talking to the counselor at school. She's saying, "Well, I'm the only counselor pretty much because this is a small town, so you're stuck with me."
And she's hot as fuck too.
yep.
They're talking, and she's trying to get something out of him. He just says, "Yeah, like, I'm fine now because I know that I'm special. I know that I'm someone else's, like, kid, and I know I'm superior, pretty much." So he's just like, you just hate this kid.
Yeah.
She asks if he feels bad about what he did, and he's just like, "Well, sometimes bad things happen for good reasons." And you're kind of thinking, you're like, "Well, what's the good reason?" Like,
Yeah.
and she's kind of like, I need to tell them that you're making progress, or else, like, this isn't going to be good for you. And yeah, and then this scene ends there.
He's like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that."
I don't think he does that
Says?
there, because
Doesn't
that's when he
he
comes
there?
to her house.
I thought he
Right?
says it there too.
Yeah, he says something about like, "Oh, you shouldn't tell my mom or
Yeah.
the sheriff or anything." The mom comes home with chicken.
Oh,
Chicken, pug!
swag chicken. Mommy brought it.
She's kind of doing some laundry. She's winding down. This is the aunt at her house. And the alarm goes off. "Alert, motion in the backyard." She is checking it out. She doesn't see anything. She hears a knock at the front door, and it's Brandon. And he's saying, "I need to talk to you about something. You're going to talk to the sheriff tomorrow?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he says,
Hey Joel.
I just got to take a drink every time I say, "You've been missing it a whole
I
lot."
haven't missed that many. Does it have alcohol in it?
No, it doesn't.
Pussy.
Might have to drive, okay? She's saying, "Yeah, you're going to talk to or he says, "Yeah, you're talking to the sheriff tomorrow. You shouldn't do that. It'll be bad for you. It'll be bad for the sheriff. It'll be bad for everyone." She kind of is a little bit like pissed at this point. She's like, "This is kind of inappropriate. You should just go
Not gonna
back
get
home."
Out alphaed by this kid.
Yeah. She goes back inside, and they hear, "Alert, motion in the backyard." The house starts going haywire. The lights are flickering. And we cut to the dad. Or wait.
Do we cut to the dad?
No, we don't.
What about that?
Isn't he at like the bar?
Yeah, this is kind of happening at the same time. Whoever Badger and the uncle and Kyle are out at the bar. They're having some pool shots, and he's like, "Yo, this kid's crazy." He's obviously losing confidence in Brandon. We see that even though Badger had a couple drinks, he's still driving home anyways. And he gets inside, and he's like really aggressively brushing his teeth. And he sees a kind of whip behind him, like Brandon's been kind of following him around the house. when he turns around into the closet, he just straight up just finds Brandon standing there, which I thought was funny. He just takes the mask off. He's like, "What the fuck, Brandon? What are you doing here?"
I love that.
You just think, like, because he's standing there and he, like, comes in, you imagine it to be that shot where he, like, kind of just passes him or something and then he's gone. And he just turns over, he's like, "Actually, what the fuck are you doing in my house?" And Brandon just kind of takes it. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm exposed." He kind of tosses him out and he tries to drive him home. Once again, Brandon's like, "You don't want to tell those people."
So you don't want to tell my parents.
Yeah, you don't want to
tell his parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those people.
Yeah. Brandon. Well, I meant also. I was thinking also the sheriff, but he has no connection.
People.
White people.
Like,
How
Brandon.
dare
Would
you?
be like,
Like just disappears and the car turns off like when he tries to start it.
yeah, this dude's got like every power, man. He has like laser eyes. He's super strength. He can fly. He can shut off electronics. Like,
Yeah, I
It's
think
basically a demon.
evil Superman.
he starts floating and Badger gets scared and he just audibly goes, "Nope, yeah, that ain't it."
I love that part, dude. That's so fucking funny.
He starts driving away and so this is when he like busts through the window, and eventually his car just shuts off. He is kind of just sitting there stranded and he sees Brandon coming in the distance until he disappears again. He starts lifting his truck up into the air and you just be scared shitless at this moment. He gets dropped down and Badger's face like smashes on the windshield and cuts like his whole jaw off, and the effect looks like pretty good, I would
It's
The
say.
gore was so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of that beginning lawnmower toss, like the effects and everything were really spot on in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
So it's like right on the like driving,
Ugh.
right on the wheel.
Yeah. Oh god, that one got me. At home, they're calling people and freaking out because they're hearing about this. Brandon gets home. He's like, "I was playing soccer with these people, and
Where he like goes
Like,
up
what
and, like,
hour of a night is he? Like,
he like pokes at the guy while he's like in the
oh right,
thing and like draws like the Brightburn
yeah.
thing on the
he like tastes his blood and shit.
yeah.
yeah,
Why he feels the need to do that every time is beyond me.
yeah. I don't know,
Just
just
the alien marking his planet.
yeah. I guess
leaving his
Serial killer.
calling card.
Yeah.
he is making up these lies to his parents, telling him he was out playing soccer with all these kids, and then he got pushed down or something, and he ripped his shirt.
His shirt rips. And...
The mom tries to take it and he says, no, it's okay. I just want my shirt. And he walks up and the Kyle immediately knows, okay, he's hiding that shirt for some reason. And so the mom's like, oh, what are we going to do? He's clearly, like we can't parent him. He's just out of control. Kyle says she says we need a specialist, and he's like, we don't, like, what kind of specialist would we call for this? Like, this is kind of on us. The dad later goes to sleep, and he's having this dream. He wakes up, and there's, like, a forest kind of creeping into his bedroom. He goes out into the forest, and we see Tori when she first found the baby, and he's really kind of getting bad vibes from this thing. She starts like bleeding from her eye sockets and mouth, and the baby's...
It was such a cool scene. I love that. That was one of my favorite scenes. In, like,
That was gross.
She... like the eyes start glowing red on this baby, and it jumps out at him and scares him awake. At the hospital, they are going to visit the uncle, who we know is in pretty bad shape. The aunt says they won't even let me see him because he looks so bad. And at this point, I was like, shit, he's still alive at this point. Like, they got him to the hospital. Like, I didn't think he'd make it that far. The next morning, they say Uncle Noah died last night. They're telling Brandon, and he's like, "Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine."
Yeah, he's so unfazed.
Just eating some fucking raisin bran.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I feel like you want me to cry or something."
Yeah, he's aggressive.
Do you want to cry?
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I never hurt Uncle Noah." Like, the dad's kind of like, "You fucking know what happened to him. I know you do." He's
The
on
fact
to
that
him.
he says like, "Oh, I'd never hurt Uncle Noah," just like dead fucking giveaway at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Is like at this point, like I don't really understand what his
Didn't
attachment
bring
is
up-
to his
bring up
parents.
Anything, yeah. Just
Like,
flex.
yeah, I don't know. He when he goes away, the dad's like, "Oh, he's hiding that shit for some reason." The kid is in the shower at this point, so he sneaks into his room. He's looking all over for this shirt, and he finds it. And when the kid comes in, he's like, "Oh, hey, I just want to apologize for, blaming you, blah, blah, blah." Kid's just like, "Yeah, whatever, I don't care." He takes it to we see the sheriff where he died, and he's finding that symbol that he saw at the diner before. When the dad gets back into bed, which at this point I noted that bed is clearly too small for those two people. It's just like a double bed, and like this dude is like real broad. And he's saying, "I want to take him out camping, just the two of us." So
Camping.
the next morning, see him back in the vehicle, and based on his reaction, you would think the wife would be like, "I don't know about this,"
Yeah.
but they go anyways. There's kind of a split scene here of them hunting and the wife painting. The sheriff comes to the house to interrogate the wife, and he wants to come and look around and see if there's anything suspicious because these symbols, he's like, "Oh, it looks like BB, Brandon Breyer," which, another trivia thing, his name is Brandon Breyer, which all of the like mainline superheroes, Clark Kent, Peter Parker, not Bruce Wayne, but it's kind of that sort of thing.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
The Joker.
The Flash.
They find some deer tracks hunting, and they start following him. The kid's like, "Oh, there's 2 deer here actually," and he's like, yeah, go start chasing those deer. The mom is getting quite suspicious of the kid at this point. She runs upstairs to find his book, and there's like very detailed like images of him just like, "First I'm gonna do this, and then I'll do this, and then destroy the world."
It was
And
all
she's-
planned out.
Yeah.
Go for it.
She's just like, "Oh my God." We go back to Kyle at this point. He's got the sniper aimed at Brandon, pops him in the back of the head. He gets hit and just kind of turns around, looks at him, and
It's
Kyle's
what?
just like, "Oh man."
Yeah.
And he's like,
Oh,
"I'm
you're
fucked." The kid gets mad, or like when he looks at him, he's just like, "Shit," and starts loading another bullet.
Yeah. Whoa,
Big-
sorry, there's a deer out there.
Oh,
This time.
Wait, son.
And slipped.
Yeah. The kid runs away and reappears in the red hood and starts kind of fucking with the dad, flying all over. Eventually kind of pins him down. And have you guys seen The Boys?
Not
I haven't
the
finished the
second
second season.
season yet. But
If you finished the first season, he just lasers through
Yeah, I was
his
just saying,
dad's.
he totally just like Homelander's his fucking dad.
Yeah.
time
In that,
to a
yeah,
nice
it's fucked.
prince.
But it still looks good. It looks so good. The mom is calling Kyle, and he doesn't pick up. And finally, Brandon picks up, and she says, "Where's Dad?" He replies with, "He's gone." She's like, "What? No, like, what do you mean he's gone?" He's like, "Yeah, you know." you know. She asks where he is, and he says, "I'm home, Mom." Crushes the phone, and he just starts
the crush like on her end.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, that kind of creeped me out.
He starts just plowing the house down, like just flying through it and breaking the structure of it. She is just in terror at this point, trying to find a safe place to hide. She goes underneath the island in the kitchen and calls 911.
Which doesn't make any sense. What the fuck is 911 gonna do?
Yeah, like they do show up.
You're just gonna kill more people.
I guess.
Yeah, the cops do show up, and one of them just gets, I think, just flown through.
Yeah, he just like explodes.
That was the other CG shot that was like really bad.
Yeah, I kind of missed it. I was writing.
Walk up to the door. Yeah, it was so I don't know.
Which I was gonna introduce this as our inaugural kill into the Kill Hall of Fame. A little side segment here. It wasn't the best CG, but it was just something super memorable and out of left field.
Yeah.
Holy shit! That guy just got vaporized.
Yeah,
he had probably the best death in terms of like pain because he was just immediately gone.
Yeah, like Badgers, I would think would be like the worst because he was just sitting there, like he was still conscious, like holding it back up. And he lived until he got to the hospital and then died.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. He like Brandon hasn't really been like just finishing people except for like his dad.
Having his fun.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of played around with killing his dad when he kind of like zoomed around and stuff, got him scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said when we were watching it there, he was really like playing with his food, taking joy in it almost.
Yeah.
Like
fear makes it taste better.
They didn't seem like they really like. I don't know why he really needed to be wearing a mask, but
maybe it's just for his character. He just loves to embody that, and maybe that just kind of shows when he's going full into that.
Yeah.
Full sicko mode.
Full sicko mode.
The other cop that's in the
Bad Dark Superman.
Yeah. The other cop enters the house and she's saying that the mom has to hide and she's freaking out because her other partner just exploded. She's calling for backup.
I love how much like fear you could hear in her voice. Like that was a really good scene. Like she sounded just so scared.
How do you explain that over like the radio? My partner,
he gone.
He's gone.
She calls like a 217 or 211, which in the trivia it said was like a murder with intent to kill or something. So like she'd already killed somebody and intent to kill more. The cop kind of gets fucked with by Brandon for a little bit, and the mom runs into the barn. I don't remember how does that cop get killed.
She just gets like basically dragged around.
Doesn't she?
Right.
Like the mom's like on like one or something, and he like brings her up, and he's just like beating the shit out of her.
Yeah, you're just like a cartoony thing.
Yeah, looks pretty cartoony.
Honestly. Like when Patrick is fighting himself in SpongeBob, so he can get into the salty Splatoon. Yeah, she's running, and Brandon flies out of the house and is kind of looking at her, and at which point you just know he's playing with his food because he could just vaporize her right there. She gets into the barn, and she's going for the ship that he came down in. She grabs a piece of glass from the ship and she goes out and starts trying to find Brandon again. She sees blinking lights of like red and black, and there's kind of cool editing in this scene where it goes red, it goes black, and then like goes up black. Dun, dun, dun. He appears and she says, "I never stopped loving you. I know there's good inside you." He says, "I want to do good. I do." And she, which, like, you gotta be lying.
Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't seem like he wants to do much good. And she has this piece of glass, and she's just gonna kill him when he can't see it.
Piece of glass
Isn't
is
it?
the
Metal.
ship.
Yeah, it's a piece of glass from the front of the ship, I thought.
That was a piece of metal.
That was
Oh.
metal.
Yeah, we don't know the exact material. It's probably
Yeah,
not from
it's alien something.
Dark
Yeah.
world kryptonite.
Yeah.
He can kind of feel and react that she's going to do that, and he catches her hand and, I don't know, just drops her. Or he makes her drop the stuff, I think, and then just flies,
He
Blast
flies
off.
really far up.
yeah, really far, like just out of the atmosphere, and he's just kind of looking at her in the
After
face.
just like smushing her like noggin into like the like roof of the barn.
Yeah, true. They're going really, really far. She is very, like, they're just sharing like a eye line at this scene. It's very, I don't know, just heartbreaking. You're just like, oh damn, your kid totally
Yeah.
lost.
After she kept like supporting him even after everything. And that's
I mean-
what I love about this movie, how it just like subverts all the superhero tropes. Like, oh, it shows his kryptonite. His weakness doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna like, oh, I want to do good in this caring scene with him and his mom.
Just kills her.
Just
anyways.
throws out the window. Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
care. He's gonna kill her.
It's
Yeah.
a movie where the
I
bad
like-
guy wins, which
Yeah.
transition into the credits. I'm the bad
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we missed the part wwhere the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's just like you know what? I just killed my mom. I just see this plane. Yeah, fuck this plane.
I think he was like trying to.
That's his thought process. You know, it was, but just Josh's. Yo, fuck this place.
Fuck this plane.
Daddy.
Like, I thought he was trying to make like a cover story for himself by like crashing the plane into the house and being
That's
like,
what I was-
oh,
That's what he did. Yeah, right.
yeah. But then he just went and proceeded to like fly around and just like killing everyone like in the credit scenes. You
Yeah,
know,
You
like
can't take over the world without killing everyone. You know.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
that was part of his book plan. Was him on top of a pile of bodies. So
But why did he need to crash the plane and then go and pretend that he was still a normal kid like
Maybe just
outside?
buy him some time. I don't know.
Yeah, like I
He's
don't know.
just a twisted fucking psychopath, Joel. Come on.
Yeah. He's like sitting out there just eating some ice cream or something. Yeah, we go to the credits. Beanie, and we have a montage here, and it shows that basically he has gone forth to just wreak havoc on the world and laser eye a bunch of people. And we keep going back to this one like kind of YouTube conspiracy theorist guy. The one last thing I wanted to say here was during this guy's kind of rant about Brightburn, he mentions these other characters, this one that comes out of the sea and one that's tangling a bunch of people with ropes, and then you see like aliens kind of behind him, and I guess this is supposed to be a reference to Aquaman, and then the tangling with ropes is Wonder Woman with like her lasso, and then the aliens were supposed to be like that green guy from Justice League. I
the
guess
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
no,
The alien guy?
Goblin.
the alien
I
guy.
know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Incredible Hulk.
That's it,
Yep,
the
that's
Incredible Hulk. So that is our movie.
I gotta get a movie for next week. Huh?
Oh yeah, shit, we didn't do that at the beginning. Missed that. Anyways, so is there any particular thumbs up moments in this movie for you guys?
My favorite kill was the the car accident. How he made it look like a car accident.
Yeah.
His big brain.
Big brain in it.
Another thing about that, not that I encourage drunk driving at all, but goddamn, was Noah just a good ass drunk driver? Like, kid was
He was.
messing with him, just like flew in, hit the side of the car, guy straight back out down the road. He's like, oh shit.
I didn't see him as being that drunk.
No, he
didn't seem
definitely.
that
Like I
drunk.
kind of took like what not Roy, Kyle said, or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
said at face value when he said he only had like 2 or 3 drinks.
Yeah.
Because he did like let his friend go home when his friends wanted to drive.
And I think that's why he was like, oh, Noah, like, I know. Like,
Yeah.
you killed Noah, didn't you?
But obviously, like when they test it, they'll see like alcohol in his blood. So
Yes.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's a shitty thing. It's like he dies as just like an alcoholic who just drove off the road when he really just got fucking murked.
Yeah. What a shitty way to be remembered.
Yeah. Any
He's a
other?
cool character too. I liked him.
Just coming
he did have a
home
good character.
The
to
homie.
see your weird ass nephew in your closet, and you're like, "What the fuck? I'm gonna take this kid home," and then he just murders you.
Yeah. So there's that. The truck scene. Any other really just thumbs up standout moments?
Good old lady pulling the glass out of her eye.
I liked
I-
when you're shaking the barn thing when she's walking up slowly behind him and he's just like shaking it angrily.
Yeah.
I thought that was really creepy.
Any thumbs up characters? I'd say if any, like I want to give one to like,
I like Uncle Noah.
yeah, Uncle Noah. So I was gonna say.
Uncle
Shit
Noah.
kind of guy. Just
It was comedic.
Yeah. Thumbs down characters.
kind of the mom.
I guess
Just because she kept defending the kid and like
Yeah.
convincing herself that he wasn't a problem.
Yeah, the mom was
Kinda
kind of the
delays
reason
some
it
shit.
went this far.
Yeah. She's
yeah.
an enabler.
Well, she was also like I don't know if Kyle's dream is literal, but like when they went to go see the baby, she was like, "Oh, we've been praying for this baby. Like this is our baby now." Like she seems like she was really the one who was just like, "Oh, we're gonna raise this
Yeah.
kid," and he was just like, "Oh, I don't know about this." So yeah, it seems like most of this is a little bit at least her fault.
Mhm.
It's all your fault.
And I think, or I don't know if there's any really thumbs down moments.
They do a lot of the same scene style where they pan to something and then they pan back and he's there. They did that like
Yeah.
over 7
Oh,
times and I was so sick
yeah,
and tired of it.
it
They didn't
really,
even like fake you out sometimes. They would just keep doing it.
yeah, it didn't really seem all that much like an actual horror movie. Like,
No.
No, it
There
did give
was
me
a
like
lot of-
creeped at parts, but
There was a lot of like horror cliche tropes of like foreboding music, and
Yeah.
like what's coming and stuff.
There's a lot of like shots that were really just made for the scene. Like none of these certain things would have happened ever, but like because of the way they wanted the movie to look, it happened. Like I guess an example of that would be like in the diner when he was like banging the table and all the lights and the electronics were messing up and stuff. Like nobody batted an eye.
yeah, yeah,
Really, it was just like they did that to show that he had that sort of power, but everyone's just like, "Oh, we're back to it, yay!"
yeah.
When it came back on,
I mean, I
like,
guess if all the lights flicker, I'd kind of like glance, but I don't think I'd look up.
Yeah.
Well, if there's a big scene going on in the room,
Oh, I
don't know.
guess maybe.
Be
It
like,
just
I'd be like an odd thing. Be like, yeah, that was fucking weird.
Okay, so we'll move into final thoughts. I'll go to Josh first. This was your movie. What did you think about it?
I like the fact that it's like an anti-hero kind of movie, and just like the fact that it kind of shows how no matter how good of a home you grow up in, things can always go wrong, and it can breed a psycho killer. And I think it had
Interesting take.
Psycho Killer.
the movie had I like the effects on it mostly, like the kills
Mm.
were my favorite part. It had a good like, it's more of just like a kill count movie where he just like goes and kills people, but still just the way he did it was very interesting.
It's like the quality of the kills are so
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. To me,
And
and
like the lower end of just the really quick him zooming through the guy, like that was still sick. It was good.
to me, this movie seems like, like if you start thinking about, oh, hey, I want to write kind of an anti-Superman origin story, and there's like kind of all these problems that prevent themselves, like, or prevent you because, you don't have a relatable superhero character. Like, they're kind of unstoppable. So, like, I think there's all these problems that present themselves, and the director, writer, whatever, looked at it and was just kind of like, there's a lot of cool stuff that we can do here. So even though we have those problems, we want to explore those things. So we're just going to do it anyways. So they get to have all these cool kills. They get to have, like the bad guy ending.
Make it a good movie.
Yeah. And they get to have just like this, oh, well, the world might be destroyed soon kind of ending. So it's nifty, but yeah, I don't know if it it's not my favorite like movie ever. But,
No.
It's something different. It's a subversion from the regular hero wins in the end type.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess with that, Dane, do you have any other thoughts on it? I mean,
I like the movie for the most part. I mean, there were a couple of bad effects, like with the lawnmower getting tossed and stuff. It looked a little goofy, but I think the kills and stuff more than made up for it. It was a pretty cool.
I just thought about something. After he threw the like lawnmower, that thing was fine, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just running
Still
still.
going.
It's just running.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
he got it running when he threw it because he must have
Oh,
hit it
yeah.
by
Oh,
the
yeah.
cord and just whoop.
oh yeah, okay, yeah, I didn't really realize that.
I just thought about that. I don't know why.
As for a score, I would give this one a frothy 6.9 out of 10.
Frothy. Let's go to Noah next. What do you think about this movie?
I really liked it. I really liked the guy's acting, like the child, like Brandon.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
But now that I know he's actually like older, I kind of thought he was his age when he was acting, and I was like pretty blown away because like, wow, a really good child actor. But now they know he's like what, 16? You said?
Yeah, he plays a good little shit. Like you
Yeah.
hate him.
Yeah. It was a good movie. I thought it was really entertaining. Like
Yeah.
I was kind of really wanting to know what would happen next, what the next kill was, like what was going on with it.
Joe, what about you?
Yeah, like it was a fun. I don't know what to call it. Like it's an anti-hero movie. It's not like a horror thriller kind of deal, but it was a interesting first watch through. And I don't think if I watched it again, I'd get anything more from it. I think the first time through was enough. And yeah, no, it had some fun kills, some good acting.
Yeah, no,
All in
yeah,
all, I think a lot of the dialogue sounded pretty fluid as well.
yeah,
So that was nice to see.
yeah. I think it was just yeah, honestly, like all the pieces were like really good, but it just I don't know, it didn't amount to something that I was super super crazy about. But it was like a cool like kind of experiment movie, like Dane said, it's something different. So before we get into the ceremony of thumbs, I will just remind the viewers to leave a like on this video if you like what we're doing here. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and hit the bell button if you want to be notified. We also will take any sort of criticism or comments down in the comment section below. So the ceremony of thumbs before we get into our wheel spinning to find out what we're watching next week. Let's go for it, boys.
Get ready for a good thumbing.
Okay, 3,
Sometime.
2,
I'm swell, Joel. How are
1.
you?
Wow, you really waited till the end for that one. Okay, so what do we have? We have 3 thumbs up and 2 thumbs down. So, yeah, I mean,
Explain yourselves.
Yeah.
like I said, I think it's an interesting concept. It's kind of fun one time. I wouldn't want to watch this movie again. It kind of sells itself as a horror movie, and I don't think it's really spooky at all. Like, you kind of go in for the shock factor of the bad guy ending and these kills, and maybe you want to rewatch it for the kills, but beyond that, like, I think it's a movie you can skip.
Yeah.
No, anything to say?
Like it's an entertaining movie and I enjoyed it, but if I'd like have to recommend it to someone, I wouldn't. Like there's so many more movies I'd rather recommend to someone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like, as I watched it, it's enjoyable and all. But yeah,
Okay, so we will get
There's
in.
something very like memorable about it, or memorable, I guess. Really, there's
Yeah.
like some cool kills and all.
it's
of
like a
them.
mini
It's
theme
just, like,
park.
a-
You kind of just
yeah.
you're on the ride for it and you're off.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can definitely
That's
say
a good
watching
way
it a
to put it,
second
yeah.
time, it's like the kills were cool and all, but it's like the story's like I don't know. It was.
It's Superman.
Is Josh
Yeah,
gonna
Superman,
do
really.
stuff?
Well, I mean, I still like the movie, like for how it is. But
Yeah, like watching it the first time through, it's a good movie.
yeah,
You know, this isn't
Yeah.
for the third time watchers. This is
No.
for
Yeah, I would
first timers.
Yeah, I wouldn't personally watch it a second or third viewing or anything. But for that first one, I think it's something different, something fun to watch.
Okay, so now all that's left is to spin the wheel. So I'll go grab it. So here is our wheel for this week. I think we actually have a pretty good wheel this week. I'll start right here. So my movie is The Devil All the Time. Dayne's movie this week is Dread, the 2012 one. Joseph's movie is Hail Satan. Noah's movie is You Are Never Really Here. Josh's movie is Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2. And our bonus movie for this week is Rango.
Let's do.
Okay. So,
Please. Joaquin
Please,
Phoenix
Rango.
movie.
without further ado,
Go, please.
Super babies. Super babies.
Super
Come on.
babies.
whoa, stop right there. So one more thing this episode, we actually landed on the movie Hail Satan, which Joseph had picked, kind of not really knowing what it was about. It turns out it is a documentary on Satanism, and it's actually a pretty good documentary, but we figured it would just be best to kind of stray away from that subject. We don't want to be making any false claims or offending anybody. We don't want to be, getting any of the facts wrong, stuff like that. The other thing is that it is a documentary, and plot-wise, it doesn't really work the same way for our format, so we figured that it might just be best if we were to choose a different movie for the week. So we spun the wheel again, and we landed on Rango. So Rango is actually the movie we're going to be doing for next week. Yeah. Until next time, I don't know, outro thing. Thumbs up. Yeah.
Woo.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh.
No! Thumbs up!